Welcome back to Inside the Ring, boxing's official show of record. I'm your host, Max Kellerman. That's our insider, Mike Coppinger, who, when I say he barely made it into the seat on time, what was it? Were you getting coffee or were you in the bathroom? What was it? Just I mean, barely. You got in right under the wire.
I've been here for like 2 hours, Max.
Buzzer beater.
Ryan Garcia, you know who he is, and Shady McCoy, you know who he is. All right, guys, there's a lot of stuff to get into today, as there always is, so it's the lead hook. Guys, he ain't finished yet. 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao, 46, has announced he's finalizing a deal to fight Rolly Romero. Romero's a belt holder, and he's going to fight him in January 2026. Ryan, I don't know if you're familiar with Rolly Romero. Pacquiao's going to be 47 years old when he fights Romero. Ryan, if he beats a dude that you at 40, don't even show up for work the next day.
You know what I am? Just to say how great Manny Pacquiao is. I mean, he's 47 years old. If he does beat a young dude, you got to get him.
This is what I'm
saying. He basically beat Barrios. I mean, I think
yes, I agree. I thought he won too, guys.
Fight.
He's retired. He's returning after a 4-year layoff. Think about when he beat Keith Thurman. He was over 40 when he beat Keith.
Oh yeah,
I was surprised about that fight.
All right, before we get into all this, though, we're getting carried away. You're the insider. Is this really happening?
Not yet. I mean, there's no deal yet at this point. They're talking. Ryan will tell you, I think, the fighters are often the last to know. Mm-hmm. And in this case, there's no deal. I wouldn't even say they're closing in on a deal. But that Rolly is the front runner. That's who Manny wants to fight. But Ryan also wants to fight Rolly. Yeah. And I think I hear that Ryan is in the mix too.
100%. You know, I've been chasing him down for my rematch. You know, look at Alex Pereira lost his fight with what's his name? I know it's MMA.
Right.
But guess what? He said he knew something about himself that if he gets his rematch, he's going to do the job. And that's how I feel. Like, if I get my rematch, I'm going to do the job how I was supposed to do.
That's right.
First time
around. You think you're going to prepare this time? It might be a good idea.
You know, I might train a little.
It's the kickback.
No, there was just a little other things that were happening. You know, I was a little unhealthy. But guess what? If I come back, I know I'm going to.
I mean, we're going to have a whole side conversation about this on another show.
Right.
Yeah.
All he did is take away your left hook, and that's all? That's it? He just takes away the hook, and that's all?
Max, I just wasn't sharp. Even my left hook wasn't sharp.
We all have bad days?
Yeah, let me have a bad day. Okay, cool.
Max doesn't have bad days.
So when you have a bad day at work, I'm going to be on your ass.
I better never get something wrong. All right, Shady.
No, I'm happy for Pacquiao. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my GOATs of all time. And for him to be that old at 46, this is a good fight for him. He's picking Rolly for a reason. Now, Ryan, don't kill me here. I think Rolly I don't think he's that good. I'm just going to be honest and say it. Right. Nothing he does other than have power impresses me at all.
I think he's coming up with I thought his performance against Ryan actually was the best of his career.
He
kept that right hand right here, did not let him get and boxed very carefully.
But did that surprise you? But did that surprise you, though, Max? Be honest, that surprised you, though. I didn't know he can do something like that.
That's
fine. Watch him fight and box.
I thought eventually Ryan's going to catch him, and he didn't.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I think Pacquiao fights him. I think we'll see the same as, what's the old dude that was whooping the hell out of Rolly?
Ismael Barroso.
Ismael Barroso was, now they shouldn't even stop that fight. But anyway.
That was a BS stoppage.
Come on, dog. So Pacquiao, if anybody can do this, right, against the right opponent, the right opponent is Rolly, he gets that done.
I want to bring up something, Ryan, you said right off the top about how old Pacquiao is. So there are two different kind of paradigms I think about. Do I have to explain paradigm? It's a boxing show, I know, but you understand. Two different kinds of templates. I guess that's just as hard for people to understand. Two different paths you can see this along, right? One is he's an old, like you look at Roy Jones. Roy Jones, had he retired at a certain point, that's the greatest fighter ever, but he kept fighting, and it tarnished his legacy in a way because people got confused and thought they're still watching Roy Jones, when they weren't anymore, really. But then there's another thing, and I think Pacquiao fits into this category. There's the Evander Holyfield, all-time great fighter, who's so good that even when he's fighting guys twice his size into his 40s, when he's not winning, he's competing, right? Like he's still, and that's illuminating his greatness, how great he was in the past. And Pacquiao, to me, like you said off the top, the fact that he could beat Keith Thurman the way he did in a great fight where he scores a knockdown, he's that old. Then he comes back, and I agree, I thought he beat Barrios. But at any rate, a draw at 46 years old, it's insane. Yeah. I think he's in the gravy portion of his career where anything he does adds, but nothing he does takes away.
No, Max, you bring up a great point about Roy Jones Jr. and legacies. I mean, I would have liked to have seen Pacquiao retire after the Thurman fight. That was a great performance. He loses to Ugas, who took the fight on short notice, replacing Errol Spence. The Barrios fight, my issue with that was it was a boring fight. Neither guy ever won its second gear. Barrios is the kind of guy that Pacquiao would have destroyed, obviously, in his prime. I get it. I give him a lot of credit. But after this fight, I would hope Pacquiao retires. I just don't think there's much he can accomplish by keeping going on.
You think he came back for one fight or two fights?
No, I don't.
He came back to now. His snap is not there anymore,
No.
right? He's so great. I think other than Sugar Ray Robinson, this is the greatest fighter who ever lived. Other than Robinson, he's so great that a flyweight champ at this age,
at 20%, right?
With no snap on his shots anymore, is still good enough to compete with these dudes.
incredible.
The welterweight division is not strong like it used to be, for one. For two is, when Pacquiao fought Keith Thurman, I was like, I don't know. And he beats him, right? Then Manny Barrios, I'm like, he's older, he's coming back, I don't know. And we all thought he beat him. This fight's the same thing. I think them guys are all both better than Rolly, for sure.
But you got to see this. Like, it's called styles make fights, bro.
Okay.
So at the end of the day,
Ryan.
Barrios is a stand-up fighter where he's just straight up, and he doesn't really move his head much, gets hit a lot. Rolly's is very awkward, and he has a lot of power. So Pacquiao's not going to be able to get off whatever he wants to get off on Rolly's. You're going to see it in the fight. Do I still think he wins? 100%. I do think Pacquiao wins.
Yeah, I was just going to say, right?
Yeah.
I think Rolly, in a way, is hard for someone like you to fight because you're used to fighting guys,
That
fight
know how to fight,
conventionally.
yeah.
I think back to Ricardo Mayorga,
Conventionally, like you're right.
Who throws, maybe he leads with some right hand from this weird angle, and you're like, I'm not used to this.
Yeah, it's very weird, and yeah.
No. Are you rooting? Is there a part of you that's rooting for Rolly just because that way you didn't lose to a dude who a 100-year-old just beat?
Nah, man, I'll tell you this. I don't really have any ego when it comes to that because I know what kind of fighter I am. I'm confident in, how great I am. Obviously I fought better fighters than Rolly's and beat them. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter to me. I know what happened that night. But what I want to see is obviously the best man win because a fight with Pacquiao to me would be more money than.
Yes, it will.
Do you think he would ever fight like Pacquiao? At his age,
I think he's looking at matchups he likes.
right? I don't want as a fan. I don't mind him fighting Rolly. I don't mind him fighting because eventually he will not be able to beat.
Of course.
Or it'll be dangerous for him to even fight Rolly. We'll see if that time has come yet because everyone runs out of gas eventually.
Yep.
But I don't want to see him fight someone like you because that is a fight that's dangerous for him. And maybe this isn't the same
And that's
thing.
what I was talking about. Remember his wife said, hey, I like the Mario Barrios matchup, and that's why he took it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I like this guy because of how he fights. Maybe she likes Rolly's because he doesn't really take a good pressure. Remember the old guy you were just talking about?
She loves Rolly fights. She don't like it. She loves him fighting Rolly, though. That's a safe fight for him.
Is it safe, though?
I don't think it is safe. He's going to be 47 years old.
It's not that safe as you think. You understand?
Can he punch? How does Rolly punch?
Rolly's has rocks for his hands, 100%. And I don't say that lightly. It was like, who was it? Juno had that. Rolly's has that. There's certain people. Duarte has that.
Just
where it's just like.
Does he have rocks?
Thudding power.
Yeah, it's
Does he have
thudding
rocks for
power.
the
It's not
IQ?
snappy, but stud.
Like someone like you, it's like
sharp
the
snap.
speed
Yeah.
is a lot of where the power comes from. Other guys are just heavy-handed.
Exactly.
Pacquiao is not heavy-handed. Pacquiao's explosiveness was the reason he was a knockout puncher, and that's not really there anymore.
No, it's not there anymore. And you mentioned who else he might fight. Again, the Rolly deal is not done yet. And I spoke to his advisor, Sean Gibbons, who runs Manny Pacquiao's promotional company. He said the three names they're looking at are Rolly Romero, Gervonta Davis, and Conor Benn. So Conor Benn obviously is going to be fighting Chris Eubank Jr. in a rematch November 15th. On this show last week, Ben told us he's coming back to 47 no matter what.
Yep.
And we have Gervonta Davis, who of course has the exhibition with Jake Paul, also in November. And those are the fights for Manny right now. Whether it's the first fight or the second fight, those are the guys he's looking at.
What I will say, though, about the matchup, which I like for Pacquiao, people that put pressure on Rolly's, they kind of unravel him pretty quick. I mean, you've seen that with, what's his name, Pitbull Cruz. So I like that part of it. If Pacquiao still has that intensity in a way where he could put pressure on somebody, he's going to have a good job. He's going to do a great job. But lately, he's been ba-ba-ba and then backs up a little bit. He's not the same.
46, yeah.
Plus,
Exactly.
the boxing skills of Pacquiao are on a different level than Rolly. When I hear someone like
100%.
Conor Benn, I don't like it.
Either.
He's too young, a little too snappy, a little too. When I hear
Skillful.
Gervonta Davis, I don't like it. And that tells you how old he's ancient Pacquiao, because once upon a time, those
I hate that fight.
Gervonta Davis, come on, man. That's Pacquiao chew these guys up. But that's not, those days are a long time ago.
I just truly think, man, like when you talk about Conor Benn, I don't think Pacquiao even thinks to fight him, right?
Nah, I don't like that.
Right, because it's too dangerous, like you talked about. Gervonta Davis, too explosive, too strong.
No, I think he has a better chance of beating Gervonta Davis
But when you talk,
than Conor Benn.
Because
Really?
he's smaller.
Yeah,
But
smaller and
But I'm saying I
Gervonta
don't
doesn't
think he
throw a
will
lot of
even.
punches anyway.
But I don't think he will even take that
Economical.
fight. Is this too much? Is this too much for you to deal with? Tank's too young. He's too good.
Yeah,
I think a fight
No,
with
definitely
Rolly. I don't
Tank
know
wins.
if it's me or what you guys are watching, and I take a lot what you say because you actually got in that ring.
Right.
But when I watch Rolly, bro, I don't see all the stuff y'all see. I think at 46, I think he has a great chance to beat Rolly
I
than
will
all
say
the other
this.
guys.
I was ringside for your fight on the apron, calling it, and the first thing that stuck out to me about Rolly was how big his legs were. Like
Yeah,
he
he
really
was
filled
huge.
out at
He was
47.
huge.
He was big.
So far you're saying he has rocks for hands, Rolly, right?
Yeah, that's
How
what
do you
Nita said.
give us an assessment? Like, I know what Shady's talking about when he's watching him. I think you're underrating him, but it's not like I can sit here and pretend I don't know where you're coming from.
I don't think he's.
How would you,
I get that.
with that in mind, how do you assess Rolly as a fighter, top to bottom?
Top to bottom, I think that for certain matchups, he gives people hell. That's it. Tank was having a hard time with him. Obviously, he had a challenge with him. So it's like certain people that are used to fighting, people that, like you said, conventional or even really good fighters I could fight against. It's sometimes like in a certain matchup, it gives people problems. Now, do I think that he has the style to give Pacquiao problems? I don't think so, because Pacquiao, he's kind of the guys that get in there anyways. You know what I mean? He's always going to be pressuring. He's always going to be, looking for combinations. That's not really me. I'm more of a sharpshooter. You can't sharpshoot against somebody that fights weird. I don't know what he's doing half of the time.
I will say one thing that stood out to me about
But
that Pacquiao.
I know what I should do. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, one thing that
I'm
stood
not
out to me
gonna
about that
say
Pacquiao Barrios fight is it just seemed that both guys were always like just out of range. Like Pacquiao wasn't really landing any big shots, clean shots. Like it was just seemed
And
like
when he did land, it didn't have the impact
It's
that
more
it
like a
used
push
to.
now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, push. That's a good way to put it.
They say that the last thing to leave a fighter, a puncher, is his punch. But as we were discussing, Pacquiao's power, a lot of it came from how explosive he was. And when that's gone, he's not a naturally just heavy-handed guy like Rolly or, bring up
you're
like
right.
The step
Ricardo
around, the burst.
Mayorga or Maidana. Not that Maidana is much more accomplished, but there's some awkward fighters who have power and are awkward. A lot of fighters out of Argentina fit this category for whatever reason, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Who are rugged, have power, and don't do things conventionally that give that, and that's problematic. And you're saying for Pacquiao, that's an advantage for him or a disadvantage for him facing a guy like that?
As far as
In this matchup, if it was Rolly.
I think it fits into Manny Pacquiao better than it would fit, like, let's say myself or somebody else.
See, now
I agree with that.
I could be wrong, but and I've been wrong before. I will be again. I picked Barrios with confidence in that fight, and then I just felt like Barrios showed Pacquiao way too much respect. Watching it from the outside, it just felt to me like Barrios was saying, "Wow, I'm in the ring with Manny Pacquiao."
Time out. The reason you can't say that about Pacquiao is in the previous welterweight era, Crawford was one, clearly, but they were perceived as Crawford and Spence like this. And then the guy right under that layer was Keith Thurman. And I know it was 6 years ago, but Pacquiao was past 40, and he gave Keith Thurman his first professional loss in an all-time great fight in which the difference was Pacquiao knocked him down.
he was hurting
right?
him, yeah.
Now he comes back 6 years
his
later,
body, too.
and he beats Barrios, who you thought would win the fight. It is revisionist history to now go back and say, well, but Barrios maybe wasn't what I
No,
thought.
it's not revisionist. I was
Pacquiao
saying
is
it watching the
that
fight.
great.
While I was watching the
It's that
fight, I
great.
was saying to myself, he is showing Manny Pacquiao too much respect.
So what did Thurman? Did he show him enough respect or too much
No,
respect? Or
Thurman
not
didn't.
enough?
No, Thurman fought
Wait.
well.
The second half of the fight, that's when he started not showing them respect and started winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some of that was he's 46 years old too.
And other people in
yeah,
the boxing
but-
industry agree.
But there are guys, and Ryan, you can speak to this
Yeah.
also. You're the guy who still gets in there.
Right.
27-year-old, you should be in your prime right now. There are some times, you saw it in Canelo and Crawford, two guys come out. Why doesn't one guy just run the other guy over? Because the other guy's showing him things that shows I can handle myself.
It's body language too, a lot of it.
yeah,
know what I
the
mean?
body
It-
language.
it's,
You see what I'm saying.
It's how you see the guy in front of you. Like, where do you feel his, I guess, awareness is at? How do you feel? Is he, is his gas kind of lead? Everything plays in your psyche, right? While you're up against somebody. Okay, he's still strong here. He's still strong there. Okay, I can't really impose my will yet. So I don't know what's playing in Barrios' mind.
Or do you agree with Mike that some of it was like a phantom of what he already expected when he saw Pacquiao? Like he came in with expectations, or was Pacquiao doing something in
I
there
think he had
that was telling Barrios, calm down?
My instinct is that he had a bad mindset coming into the fight. I'll say that. I
can see that.
I don't think he said I'm about to beat the shit out of him right now.
Right.
It was like, oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, that's how I felt.
Blah blah. And then when he was in front of him, he kind of froze up, which he actually could have hit Pacquiao a lot more times.
That's what I thought.
He
That
just-
is not how I felt. I just got to say,
No, you're right.
that's not how I felt at all. I felt like Pacquiao is at other than Sugar Ray Robinson, I think that's the greatest fighter of all time. I think there's a reason for that. It's not like even without his fast twitchies, you can take a drink now, right? 'Cause I like to use it.
Thank you. Got
But
it in.
even without the fast twitchies at 47, or 46 at the time, he is such a great fighter that he can neutralize another world-class fighter.
Yeah.
This is what I mean by what you do when you're not even good anymore shows how great
Right.
you are.
I agree with that,
Right?
Max.
When you're not even
not
good
wrong.
anymore, you show how great you are.
Right.
He's not as good as he used to be, but his greatness is still there.
I'm not taking anything away from
part
him.
of it? We're not talking about the IQ part of him. All these years, all this experience he's had. So maybe he's not as fast, he's not as quick. Maybe he don't hit as hard as used to. But what about the IQ part?
I guess it doesn't pop out to you when you think of Manny Pacquiao's IQ.
Right.
You more of like he's so sharp that it's just overwhelms somebody. I don't think, dang, he's so IQ, but maybe he
Know who
does.
said fighting
Maybe it's hidden.
Pacquiao? Know who said fighting Pacquiao was a very tricky fight, one of his trickiest fights? Floyd Mayweather.
He did say that. He did say that.
Floyd Mayweather, so that's one of, and Pacquiao's fighting with one shoulder.
now.
And he's past his prime. I mean, so is Floyd, but the point is, Floyd Mayweather, who has in the history of boxing, the most you can do is maybe match Floyd Mayweather's boxing IQ, maybe. And
he said that?
And
Come
he
on.
said
He
that's
obviously
one
has
of my
a weird
trickiest
rhythm.
Fair
fights.
enough.
A weird rhythm to him that people that can't really, get a hold of.
Right.
But then Marquez did.
Marquez tied him, but he had
freaking
he had 36 rounds. He had 36 rounds going in.
you're
He
saying-
was on steroids, I think.
Hold on.
100%.
Hold
I
on.
think Marquez was on steroids in
Juan
that fourth
Manuel
fight. I'm sorry to
Marquez
say.
was a guy who was willing
That dude
to
looked
drink
huge.
his own urine
Yeah.
if he thought it gave him an advantage. And then before the Pacquiao fight, came in looking like the Incredible Hulk.
he looked crazy.
And then Pacquiao and Freddie Roach said, our plan is to knock him out this time because they kept going the distance.
Right.
So you have Pacquiao running headfirst into a born counterpuncher who's already fought him 3 times and is looking like Lou Ferrigno.
Max, I just gotta say, one of my favorite moments in boxing history, and you worked on that telecast, was after the third fight. I thought Marquez definitely won that third fight with Pacquiao. When I think it was Merchant interviews him in the locker room, and Marquez is wearing nothing but a sombrero covering himself.
All I want is the same benefit of the doubt you give Pacquiao to me sometimes. Please, just a little bit.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
He gives Pacquiao all the benefit of that doubt. I mean,
Yeah,
you
where's
should have
your-
beat Rollies, huh?
Right.
You know, why did you beat Rollies?
Ryan, we are waiting for you to put it all together, brother. Once you put it all together, the sky is the limit.
So when we come
put
back
it
here,
all
when I
together.
put it all
Gotta roll
together, I want this to have a whole different energy. Like, damn, right?
We're gonna have a party for us
Yeah,
next week.
please have a party.
Part of the team.
Okay.
Max,
But
Max is gonna make you a
Rolly
cake.
stuff is like, come on, now
pay
that it's
someone
over
to.
with. Can we be honest though?
I
Rolly's
can't
not.
wait to get my rematch so I can end
Rolly's
this.
not. Before we leave, can we all agree on that?
I know what you're saying.
Come on,
Let's
yo.
put it that way.
Right.
But
Thank you.
the man who fought him
Rolly.
said he has fists like rocks.
He does.
Come on.
Even Gervonta said that.
Brains
so
like
I'm not
rocks,
the
only
only
just
one.
a fist.
For those watching on YouTube, head on over to DAZN to catch the rest of this show, including our interviews with Boots Ennis and Lamont
Philly.
Roach. Stick around.
DC.
It's Inside the Ring.